Good day, everyone. I think that you all are listening to my videos and gaining on with a little bit of information and knowledge I am sharing with you, along with short and brief notes of the concerned topics related to social work. If any of the topic is not clear, please do write to me and I'll be coming with the fresh explanation of that topic. So let's move on. And today I'm going to give you a simple and a brief explanation of scope of social work. But before discussing the scope of social work, we must know what scope actually means. To be very precise, the term scope can be supplemented with the terms area or field. That is to say, the scope of social work covers various areas and fields where social work services are given. We all know that with pace of time, social problems have increased and taken an acute and deep shape. Along with this, the scope of social work is gradually expanding. It is now international and interracial in scope. Its methodology is useful in solving the human problems of the happy and adequate, as well as of the handicapped and unhappy at the same time. So, today, the scope of social work has become too wide and deep. In present society, social work provides many services for the people, like for children, for families, for women, for rural welfare, for youth welfare. Then there are other number of services which are being provided in the field of education for adults. Then there is backward classes welfare, welfare of physically and mentally handicapped, medical social work, correctional social work, and a lot more. In other words, I can say that social work covers every aspect of human life. In the present slide also, I have just mentioned number of fields, and it's not that the fields which is being mentioned in the slide are limited. They can be more, and you can always come up with different fields and elaborate them accordingly. Now, I would like to talk about few of the fields in detail. Let's talk about child welfare. We all know that social work provides many welfare services for children, like residential institutions for the care, protection, education, and rehabilitation of socially handicapped children, like orphans, destitutes, children of unmarried mothers, or divorced, etc. Then it also includes temporary homes for children, daycare centers, cultural centers, recreational centers, and holiday homes for children of low income families. It also provides basic services in the field of health, nutrition, education, and recreation for normal child. In other words, it can be said that child welfare has both preventive and treatment aspects. Now, moving on, let's see what is there about women welfare. We all know that women constitutes a large percentage of Indian population, and majority of them still have various social and legal disabilities. So a number of social work services are provided to them, like socio-economic programs are there to rehabilitate women with various disabilities through training come production centers, which are both residential and non-residential. Then there are different courses of education for adult women which help them in their economic and social rehabilitation. There are a number of hostels for working women. There are women clubs which provide a meeting place for women where recreational and cultural activities are provided. Residential institutions are there to help the destitute, rescue dependent and unattached women out of their problems. Legal aid is also being provided, especially to poor, illiterate, dependent women in matters like maintenance, inheritance, divorce, property, etc. Then there are a number of social education centers for women which impart knowledge of different spoken and written language and education related to adjustment to social life. Then there are a number of family welfare agencies which solves the problems of the family by providing counseling, financial help, or by bringing marital adjustments and so on. Youth welfare. See, youth has always stood for energy, for enthusiasm, and it's very important that their energy is being tapped in right direction or in constructive direction. So there are different various youth programs for their development. Like in rural areas, particularly in India, we have Yuvak Mandals, which are being organized by the community development programs. Then in different schools and colleges and in universities, there is a provision of NSS, that is National Services Scheme, and NCC, that is National Cadet Corps. These all organizations to provide number of activities for the overall development of the youth. Various types of scholarships are being given in studies and sports. Personality development programs are being organized. Youth clubs are also organized by schools and colleges and different training centers on community development. Well, moving on to the welfare of the handicapped, the welfare services which are provided for the mentally and physically handicapped people are mainly concerned for their rehabilitation, recreation, and care. So they are provided with proper education, hostels and institutions for accommodation, training and rehabilitation centers, recreational facilities, sheltered workshops. Financial assistance is also being provided to them. Then various competitions are being organized for them. Competitive exams have reserved seats for physically handicapped. So, in this way, with these various social work services to the handicapped, today they display their brains on computers, typewriters, etc. Now, let's talk about the welfare of scheduled castes and tribes. This class of people also needs special attention and programs. And for their upliftment, social work services are provided. Like we all know that in every government job, they have their fixed 30% reservation. Then in schools and colleges, fees is reduced. Various scholarships are given to them, medical facilities, hospital facilities, and other facilities are being provided to them with concessions. Then awareness programs for their mental growth are being organized, which covers different areas of health, nutrition, family living, etc. Now, welfare services for the aged and infirm. Old age is that period of life which needs care, attention, and affection, just like a small baby. Therefore, social work services are provided to them, keeping major aspects in mind, particularly health, leisure, social, economic, occupational, environmental, etc. So we have number of daycare centers, or we can say that older persons clubs for those who live with their families. We have institutions for unattached, dependent, and friendless persons. Infirmaries are there for incurable and chronically ill old age people. Even financial assistance is being provided to those who can live in their families but do not have sufficient means to maintain themselves through old age pensions, which is given to the needy person over the age of 65 years. And number of states provide this service like Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Kerala, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, and many more. Now let's talk about community welfare services, or more prominent about the community welfare development. See, number of fields are there where community welfare services are being provided, like slum improvement, short-term specialized courses for women seeking employment, dormitories and night shelters, holiday homes for children, services in rural areas, particularly awareness programs about healthy living, new methods of agriculture, etc., welfare work for tribal, and so on. Moving on to medical social work or psychiatric social work, these sort of services bring about an integration of social and physical aspect of a patient into an active relationship towards constructive end. That is, there are a number of fields in medical social work also where social work services are being provided, like public health programs, maternity and child welfare centers, infirmaries, mental hospitals and psychiatric clinics, general hospitals, rural health units, children's ward, TB sanatoria, and much more. So, in this way, all the fields or different areas of social work can be elaborated. We can say that the scope of social work is really too wide and deep. It embraces every aspect of human life. And we, through various social work services, applies scientific approach to every social problem through number of techniques and methods. This has really led to a wide scope of social work. Well, to recapitulate, the scope of social work includes different areas and number of fields where social work services are being provided. It is also utilized in number of settings and agencies. Some important ones are like medical social work, in marriage and family counseling, psychiatric social work in school, in correctional services, public welfare, workplace, drug abuse, child welfare, and a lot more. Social work is actually becoming more important because thousands of persons are benefited from its services. People are not only being helped with their personal or family problems, but also with neighborhood, national, and even international difficulties. It focuses particularly on helping people to solve their personal, family, and community problems through enhancing social functioning. Here, I would like to make one thing clear, that do not take social work as an antiseptic. It is not an antiseptic. It doesn't aim to make life free from stress producing problems or to relieve people of their responsibilities. It is just the intervention, and it is needed when people unaided can't cope up with social obligations and commitments, and when problems interfere with their relationship. As social work touches and covers every aspect of human life, the basic aim is to improve and enhance social functioning, to help people so that they can help themselves. That's all for today's class. I think the concept would have been clear to all. If not, then do write to me. I'm waiting for your feedback. Thank you.